Callcabinet is a software as a service product which allows for cloud-native call recording and analytics solutions. Callcabinet's revolutionary cloud-native compliance call recording solutions are powered by next-generation artificial intelligence and utilizes specialized machine learning, ensuring that Callcabinet is always on the bleeding edge of call recording and analytics. This video will provide you a succinct overview of some of these incredible features of Callcabinet. In order to use Callcabinet, you need to go to your URL of your account, then enter in your username, which is your email address, and the password. Once you've done this, you click on the login button. Now that you've logged into Callcabinet, you will be sent to the home page, and inside this home page there are a couple of widgets that give you metrics about the activity that is taking place on the account. For instance, the call count, the call volumes, and the user activities, and so on and so forth. You can then move off to your call listing page. Clicking on the call listing page will render all the calls that have taken place over the last 7 days. From this page, you can play a call. For example, I can go ahead and I can play this particular call over here, and I can listen to the call. You'll see it starting to occur in the transport bar over here. You are also able to search for particular calls by filtering. Go to the filter button to add a filter, and there are a number of filters that you may select. For instance, a duration or an extension. Let's, for example, find all the calls that are from 0 to say 4 minutes. Once I've found that and set the criteria, I can then press the apply button, and now all the calls that are less than 4 minutes will be rendered on this particular screen. You can decide what type of column names you would like to have in the table itself. To do this, you go off to the edit columns, and then from the available column side, you can go and drag the column that you would like to be visible to the visible column side, drop it in the position you want. If there are columns inside the visible columns section that you don't want, you can remove these columns as well. Once you've made the changes, you would save those changes, and immediately you will see that that new column will appear inside your table itself. Another incredible feature is you are able to go and search for words and word phrases that may occur inside any of your calls. You may search for words that have been said by both speakers, the agent themselves, or the customer themselves. Let's, for this example, select both speakers. Let us search all conversations in which the word good has been used. So I'll add this phrase. Once I've added it, I will then go and apply it, and after a moment we will get an indication of which conversations has that word in it. And here we are. Here are the conversations that have the word good in it. And if there's more lines in which this word has been used, there's a scroll bar in which we can go and look at those particular phrases. So as you can see, we can see that these conversations had the word good in it. We can also say, can you please give me all the conversations that have the word good in it or the word bye in it. So let's enter the word bye, let's add that, let's change it from an and to an or, let's apply the filter, and after a few moments we will see this new combination take effect. So all the conversations in which the word good and bye appear are shown, as well as their phrases. So this particular conversation had the word good in it. As we move down, notice here this particular conversation had the word good as well as the word bye in it. So you can reset everything by going and clicking on the clear search. From the call listing page, you're also able to view the sentiment of each call, whether the sentiment is improving, whether the sentiment is getting worse, or whether the sentiment is really poor. You are also able to determine whether a call had automatic quality assurance applied to it, or whether the call had only manual quality assurance applied to it, or whether the call had both applied to it. It is possible to view far more details about each call by going into what we call the call details page by pressing on the View Calls button. Once you enter into this page, you will notice that there is a plethora of information. Not only can you play this call, you can add notes to this call, you can add tags to the call, you can place legal holds on the call, you can download the calls, you can email the calls, you can share the calls, you can actually see when the call plays, the video that has taken place during that particular conversation. You are also able to look at a whole lot of analytics associated with this particular call. For example, you can look at the call sentiment of the call, how the sentiment of the call changed during the duration of the call. You can look at the cadence of this particular call itself. In other words, how many words per minute were used at particular points within the call. There is an interaction word cloud which can be rendered, in which most important words will be shown in this cloud, and there is another graph showing you when the most silence took place within this particular conversation. Not only are call metrics provided about this call itself, but there is also a complete interaction journey in terms of a transcript. When automatic quality assurance takes place, number of scorecards are read, and inside those scorecards is a section called topics, and any of those topics that are in those scorecards and are detected within a conversation, you can highlight within the transcript itself. And as you move over any of the highlighted topics, a pop-up will appear telling you the actual topic that was detected. Not only are topics shown inside the transcript, but you are also able to show any intents, i.e. any actions that need to take place in the conversation. Another aspect that you can look at of this particular conversation is the quality assurance. So we go to the quality assurance tag, we click on the quality assurance, and we will immediately see any of the quality assurance evaluations that have taken place. Some of these might be manual and some of them will be automatic. You can go and view these evaluations by clicking on the ISIS-I, which will render a report. You're able to override any automatic quality assurance that took place by clicking on the actual report pencil, and then the scorecard will pop up and you may now go and manually evaluate that score if you're not happy with the automated process. It is possible to get Callcabinet's AI engine to generate a summary of this call. To view this AI generated summary, click on the drop down of the card and you will see the summary of the call being rendered on your particular screen. Earlier we spoke about creating scorecards, so let's have a quick look at creating these scorecards. Go to your menu panel and go all the way down to the bottom where you see a clipboard and says QA scorecards. Click on that icon. After a few moments, a table is rendered. From this view, you will see all the scorecards that are created for manual quality assurance and all the scorecards that are created for automatic quality assurance. To create a scorecard is really simple. Let's show you how to do this by creating a manual scorecard. Go ahead and click on the Create New Evaluation Form button. A graphic scorecard editor view is rendered. By default, manual scorecard editing is enabled. To start creating questions, let's now press on the Add Question button and you'll see a question dialog appears. There are a number of fields that you can enter in information. You can enter in the question, a hint for that question, as well as a section. Once you enter the section name in, then you'll be able to provide the answers. Go ahead and type in the question. Once you've typed in the question, you can provide a hint for that question. And then if there is some sections that are enabled already, then you're able to select from a drop-down, or you can create your own section name here. Let's just create our own one called Greet and enter it. We now need to provide the answers to this question. So for the first possible answer, if they did use a corporate greeting, yes they did, we'll give them 100 marks. If they did not use the corporate greeting, then we will give them 0 marks. So that is our first question complete. Let us go ahead and create another question by clicking on the Add Question. Once again, start entering in all the pertinent information. Now that we've finished the second question, let's go and create a third question. Now that one done, I'm going to create one more question. For this question, I'm going to provide a different flow if the answer is negative. So for example, was the agent polite? And if I say no, the agent was not polite, what we're going to do is we're going to assign that particular question a total failure and give it the 0 mark. Now that we have all these questions, it's now time to link and create the flow of the questions. So for the very first question, we're going to assume it is this one. Did the agent use a corporate greeting? If they said yes, then we would like this next question. Did the agent establish who they were speaking to be asked? So if it is yes, we click on this little bubble over here, and then we drag our mouse across, and now we've linked those two questions together. So we click on the bubble next to the no answer, drag our cursor along, and link it to this question, was the agent polite? So if the answer is yes, this question gets asked. However, if the answer is no, this question gets asked. Let us assume that irrespective of what answer this question comes up with, whether it's a yes or a no, we want this question to be asked. So what we do here is we click on this bubble next to the question, drag across to that question over there. So irrespective of what the answer is, this question will always be asked. Remember when we created this question over here, we said if the answer was no, then the test is a complete failure. So what would happen here if there was a no, then this whole evaluation will end and the agent will get 0. If the answer is yes, then what you need to do is click on the bubble next to the yes answer and then assign that to another question. And this is how you build up your scorecard. And once you've built up your scorecard, you need to save it. So go and click on the save and exit, enter in the name, enter in the pass mark, 80%, and if you want to enter in any description, you can do that. Once done, save it. You will then see, after a moment, the form is successfully saved, and you will see the name of your form appear in the table. Now to make use of this manual QA, you'll go ahead and click on your call listing icon, and after a moment all your calls will be listed. Go and select on a particular call that you want to do QA on, go to the Begin Quality Assurance section, click on that particular card, then go to the Available Evaluation Form section, and you are now able to go and select your particular scorecard you've just created, and as soon as you select it, here it appears inside the evaluation section, and you can now go ahead and start performing evaluations upon this particular agent. Back in the QA scorecard section, you're able to create a new evaluation form which is automatic too. And the process is virtually the same as what we did when we created a manual evaluation form. In this case, what you need to do is select Automatic Scorecard. Once you do this, then you can start adding items to the scorecard. And on the right hand side, you can select the type. You'll notice that there are 3 different types that you can select. Remember when we did the manual? You could only create a question. But now what you're able to do is you're able to not only create a question, but you're able to create a filter and a topic. In creating a filter, this will evaluate certain aspects of that conversation, and depending on a metric, it will then go and change the path of flow. Give it a description. Once you've done that, go and select a filter type. Let's go and select a filter. Let's say audio duration in seconds, less than or greater than. We're going to say greater than, and we're going to enter the duration in of 60. And when we save that, you will now see that this filter appears. So what is going to happen is only the questions that appear after this filter will be used in the evaluation should this filter criteria be matched. So for example, let me now go and add a question. Add an item, add a QA question, and I'm going to add in all the pertinent information. Once you've entered in most of the pertinent information, there's another section underneath the automatic scorecard that you need to complete, and that is the word phrases. So you need to type in all the word phrases that will be used to evaluate this particular question and then give a positive or negative answer. In other words, if any of these word phrases are matched in the particular conversation, then the answer would be yes, they have achieved what you are asking in this question. However, if none of the word phrases are detected, then the answer would be no. So you would go ahead and type in any of the word phrases into this particular section, and you would add it, and you need to go ahead and start typing lots and lots and lots of word phrases into here. The more and the more accurate you type in these word phrases, the better your results would be. Once you've done all that, you need to save it, and you're now able to go and link the question to the filter in exactly the same way as we did earlier. So, is the duration greater than 60 seconds? Yes, it is. Well, if that is the case, please will you then go ahead and ask this particular question over here. So notice this is how you are going to link your questions and your filters in an automatic QA. As you see, very, very similar, slight nuances, but now this scorecard gets called every single time a call takes place on your account. That succinct overview has given you an understanding of how Callcabinet uses analytics to evaluate your calls. It provides you with incredible metrics for each call that you are able to look at. It also provides you the facility of being able to search for particular words and word phrases within a call. It shows you the sentiment of a call. It also allows you to do quality assurance against your agents, not only manually but automatically as well. It provides you with the ability to add notes, to send particular calls, to download calls. Callcabinet is a very powerful tool in which you are able to evaluate your calls.